This happened to me once before. Okay. Are we good? Are we recording? Yes. Okay, we're recording now. All right, guys. Sorry about the little technical hiccup there. I'm so excited about our team call tonight, you guys. We have a really epic guest speaker. Her name is Kate, and I'm going to give you a little backstory about her. But first, let me do a quick little screen share here and give a little love to some coaches that are crushing it. So can you guys see my screen right now? Yes, I can see Sarah. I can see Kelly. I can see Kaylee Bell. Shake your heads if you can see my screen. Yeah? Okay, cool. So I wanted to give two quick announcements and a couple shout outs real quick before we dive into the content tonight. As you guys may or may not know, it is the Success Club trip this upcoming week. So a lot of us on our team, I think we have about 35 coaches on our team that are headed to the Bahamas and Haiti, which is super exciting, which also means we won't have a team call next week for Fit Foundation specifically, but we'll have a couple other team calls that you can plug into within Forward Fitness. But if you are interested in details of how to get your cute butt on the next trip with us, go to successclubtrip.com/2020, which is for all of the details of the upcoming Success Club trip. But basically you earn it as you progress in your business as a coach, earning Success Club over time. So super fun way to get to connect and like go on a vacation with other coaches. And so you want to be there. Secondly, if you guys haven't seen me post in Slay Squad, we're doing a diamond matchmaking. For those of you that are pushing for diamond before May 2nd, I'm doing a matchmaking call on Thursday and Saturday. So check out Slay Squad for all of the deets on that. I gave a whole little post about it, but basically it's going to be people that have the same goal. We're going to put you into little groups together so you can all party and celebrate with each other, because we know if we have fun and we have accountability and we push ourselves, we're going to get more done. So super exciting there. And then I wanted to highlight top 3 volume earners of last week: Brittany Crosby, Elisa Gallios, and Maggie Hoffman. Killing it, squad. And our top recruiters of last week are Brittany Crosby and Kinsley, which both of them are on freaking fire. And then I wanted to blow up the chat. I hope that Kaylee's on the call right now. Kaylee is a mom of 3 tiny little humans, and I shouted her out on the team page. For those of you guys that don't know Kaylee, she's been a coach for a really long time. She's going through a lot of transitions in her life, and I wanted us to just blow up the chat for Kaylee, because even with all of these transitions in her life right now, she is showing up. She's crushing her business. She's getting her workouts done with, like, if you guys saw, I shared a video of like a dinosaur getting thrown at her face, even while keeping 3 humans alive and doing all the things. So let's just give her some serious love. Tell her how much we love her, how much she's crushing it, how much she inspires us. She's lost 50 pounds 3 times. Once before she had her babies, then she had her twins and lost 50 pounds, and then she had her third and lost 50 pounds again. Homegirl is on fire. Anyways, okay. I just want to just take a second and give her some love because she's crushing it. Okay. Without further ado, we have an epic guest on our team call tonight. So I actually got to meet Kate backstage at NLC, where I was speaking at that event, and Kinsley was there too. And I loved her story. And she was backstage. She was going to go on stage to share her story. And I was just like watching her, and I'm like, this girl's got the heart. She's got the drive. She's just freaking crushing this business. She's currently number 2 in the company, which is really a testimony to leadership and how in it she is, because Homegirl's been a coach for like a year and a half. So for any of you guys that are scared to set big goals, she's crushing it, and she's been here for a year and a half, right? So remember that action breeds confidence too. So I'm super excited for Kate to share with us her story tonight and just dive into all the things, girl. So let's turn the time over to you. I'm so excited to hear from you tonight, girl.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. You guys are like super hype in the chat, and I like that. I like when teams like get hype in the chat. You know, it's like so awkward when the whole like chat is silent and you're like, I don't even know if they like what I'm saying. I don't know what's happening. So definitely give me all the hype vibes in the chat, but you guys are on Keisha's team, so I'm sure you'll be perfect hype men. But I am just super excited to share with you guys because this last weekend, so I'll give you a little synopsis of like what I'm going to share, and then I'll just dive right into my story and then the content. But this last weekend, I, on a whim, went to High Performance Academy by Brendan Burchard. It was in Phoenix, and I actually just moved. I'm in my in-laws' house right now. So like this is like their guest room. We're like in between houses right now. So we've been a little like out of sorts, but a couple days ago, I just like randomly decided I was going to go to this high performance academy, and it totally just like rocked my world. And so I'm super passionate about some of the things he talked about and how they relate to my story and the business. So I'm going to just dive into my story and then dive into some content. So I have, like Keisha said, I have only been a coach for a little over a year, almost a year and a half, but since December 2017. So December 1st, 2017 is when I signed up to be a coach. My story is very long-winded, so bear with me. But about 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, Curtis and I moved from, Curtis, my husband, then boyfriend, we moved from Colorado to California right after college. And I went to school to be a teacher, and Curtis went to school for criminal justice. So when we moved out to California, and we just kind of moved out to California like for fun, like we didn't have a plan, we didn't have like anything. It was the dumbest thing we've ever done, but it was the best thing we ever did because it got us to where we're at now. But we moved out to California with only me having a job. So that was like dumb thing number one. So we were living in Orange County with just me having a first year teaching salary. I was teaching first grade in the projects of East LA. So if any teachers out there, I had 36 first graders in the projects and in my first year of teaching. And it was rough. Like just, I can't even put it any more bluntly than just rough. Curtis was trying to get into the police academy. So he is an Orange County deputy. And so at the time he was trying to get into the police academy, there's all this testing. Orange County's academy is arguably the hardest in the entire country because it's one of the only ones that still has a high, it's a high stress academy is what they call it. So they put high mental and physical stress on these deputies. And so he was trying to get into this academy, and I'm teaching in the projects. I had an 1.5-hour commute one way, which was just dumb thing number two, was not live close to where you teach, especially in California. So I was commuting 3 hours a day with 36 first graders. It was in the projects, so a really rough area. And on top of it, I was writing the reading curriculum because I was the only teacher that had a master's degree that could like write the curriculum. So that was a good idea apparently. So I got in, I was the teacher that was going to change the world. Like I came in, like every student's going to come in my class and learn how to read. Like everyone's going to get on grade level. Like every single kid is going to have their life changed as soon as they come into my classroom. Like super excited to be a teacher. And then 2 months in, I was burned out. Like just totally questioning everything. Questioning was, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be am I supposed to be struggling this much? Like I knew first year teaching was hard, but like this was like, I just couldn't even believe that everybody's first year of teaching was this hard. And so with that, I stopped taking care of myself. So I started to turn to food for comfort. I actually had never really dealt with like comfort eating or stress eating or emotional eating or binging. That was never anything I had ever done. Just because growing up, I was so active. I was always in sports. I went to college actually for dance at first, and then I got hurt. So I ended my dance career my freshman year of college. My undergrad is in sports medicine, athletic training. So I was always around college athletes. I worked at the gym. Like being active was a part of my lifestyle. And then once I started teaching, like I didn't have an outlet. Like I was just a teacher and I didn't have anything else to turn to except food because yes, I could turn to Curtis, but he's going through this academy process. He's already highly stressed out. Like I'm trying to hold it all together for everybody else. So I ended up gaining about 30 pounds in like 6 or 7 months. So it was a lot. And it was Carl's Jr. fast food on the way home. It was Starbucks every morning. It was soda in the afternoon to try and keep me awake and caffeinated. And I gained weight really quickly and I became extremely anxious and just sad. And I hesitate saying depressed because I was never clinically diagnosed with depression. I don't want to say I was that when I don't really know, but I know I was sad, and I know that it was really hard to get out of bed every morning. And it was really hard to just try to hold myself together all day when all I wanted to do was cry the whole day. I think I cried myself to sleep more times than not during that first year. And I thought this is just how it was, like you grow up, you get a degree, you go to work, and you live for the weekend, and that's just the way it is. So in February of 2017, I went to go get a physical checkup, just went to the doctor for an exam. And the doctor said, you need to lose about 25 pounds. Like, you are extremely overweight. And it's putting a lot of stress on your heart. So my dad's side of the family actually has a really prevalent history of heart disease. My grandfather died before the age of 60 of a heart attack. My uncle died 6 years ago before the age of 60 of a heart attack. My dad had a 99% blockage in his heart, in his coronary artery, when I was student teaching, so like 4 years ago. And had to have surgery to get that cleared. He's super healthy and loves 21 Day Fix and Shakeology now. But then a month after I started coaching, my other uncle had a heart attack before the age of 60, but he survived. So it was just, it wasn't just like you need to lose weight because it looks aesthetically better, or because, for whatever reason. It was, you need to lose weight or you are going to have a very short life. And I kind of I knew I needed to lose weight. Like, I could feel my clothes getting tighter, but I didn't go to the gym and I didn't have a scale, so I didn't know how much weight I had gained. I didn't really feel like I looked in the mirror anymore. I was kind of going 100 miles a minute. I don't even recall getting ready in the morning, so I don't even know if I ever looked at myself. I probably showed up a hot mess every single day. But when the doctor told me that, it was soul crushing. And it was just kind of because it was I knew I needed to, but I was just in such survival mode that I didn't know how. Even though, we have people that say I don't know how to lose weight. We know how to lose weight. We know how to be healthy. We learned it. We were first grade when we talk about what food groups you eat in health class, we know the things, but I think when we get to being adults, we overcomplicate it, and we are in such, especially when we're in highly stressful situations and just trying to get through the day, it's not in the forefront of our brain. So I broke down in the doctor's office, sobbing, telling her how much I hated my job. I had never seen this doctor before, so she probably was gonna, I was worried she was gonna put me in the mental institution, because I was just sobbing uncontrollably, couldn't, the sobbing where you can't catch your breath. And it was the first time that I had really let it all out. And she didn't say anything. She just watched me cry, and then was okay, so you need to eat better, kind of gave me some tips. And I left the doctor's office that day so defeated. Because I was 25 pounds is a lot. And I was the person standing in front of the mirror looking at 25 pounds. I need to lose 25 pounds. How am I going to lose 25 pounds? I don't, that's going to be a lot, and all this stuff. And for some reason that day, I looked at the patient summary form. I never look at those things. Those end up in the trash when I'm walking out of the hospital, or between the car seat and the console of your car, stuff with all the fast food receipts. That's where those things end up for me usually. But for some reason, I looked at it that day, and right under where she had put my goal weight, and right under it said, find a new job. The commute isn't good for you. And that was my moment. Oh, I cry every time when I get to this point. And I tell this story every week. I don't get it. But that was my point where I realized I was rock bottom. I had been trying to hold it together for social media or for my family, because I didn't want to put any stress on them. If you guys love the Enneagram, hopefully you know what the Enneagram is, but I'm a type 1, so I'm a perfectionist. I need to have it all together all the time. If I am, failing, then I'm bad and all this stuff. And so And so it was really hard for me. But I knew I needed to change something. And I just didn't know what. And so I kind of was thinking about changing some things. I started to look for a new job for the next school year. I actually called Curtis that day and was like, hey, like, and also, I had actually, I don't know if you guys have ever had this done, but it's super cool. This girl I met who's a coach, she's an astrologist, and she did like my birth chart, which is like kind of cool to look at and stuff, no matter like what you believe in. But she did my birth chart, and one of the qualities is when I'm emotional, I make jokes or like sarcasm or like wittiness because I don't like to be emotional, so I try to hide it. So I was super emotional that day when I got that piece of paper and that note, and I called Curtis and was like, so I have a doctor's note to quit my job. Am I good? Like I have this doctor's note that, you know, I'm off the hook, right? And obviously no. So I went home that day and knew I needed to make a change, but didn't know how. So a couple weeks later, in like March now, I was scrolling on Instagram, and I was on the explore page or on like a hashtag, and I came across my coach, who's Ashley Feldison, which I know most of you guys know who that is. But Ashley, she had posted her before and after, like of her progress pictures. And at the time she had lost like 30 pounds, which was about what I needed to lose. And so I was looking at that picture. I'm like, wow, this girl, I look like her on the left and I need to look like her on the right. But all I did was I would just double tapped it. All I did was like it. I didn't message her. I didn't follow her. I didn't comment on her picture. I didn't click the link in her bio. I didn't vote on any polls in her stories. I just liked the photo and kept scrolling. The next day she showed up in my inbox with an invite. And that day I signed up with a challenge pack, like all in, signing up with the challenge pack. I was probably the easiest sell because it was literally invite, cool, how much? Cool, I'm in. Like it was the shortest conversation, but I just knew I needed to make a change. But 2 weeks later, I quit. So I signed up as a challenger with a challenge pack. I actually think I signed up as a discount coach, but I didn't really know what that was. She was like, here, like you'll get a discount if you do this. I'm like, cool, I'll just put in my social security number. I didn't even ask any questions. But I signed up, and 2 weeks later, I quit because I wasn't, at-home workouts didn't work for me. Shakeology was an overpriced protein shake. You know, I can't follow a meal plan because I teach all day. I can't blah, 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 blah. All these excuses that I have heard from my own challengers and have heard from other people. So I canceled my Shakeology. I called and was like, can you cancel my Beachbody On Demand? And they're like, well, you already paid for it. Like you have it until September. And I was like, no, I don't want it. Like delete it. Like I don't want it. I don't want to have access. Like take it away from me. Obviously they couldn't really do that. I had already paid for it. And I told Ashley, like, this wasn't for me. Like, cool, good for you. This isn't for me. But the next 10 months, I would type in her name every single day into that search bar and see what she posted that day. Or I'd type in her name every single day and see what her stories were. And if she wouldn't have showed up every single day, like how crappy would I have felt when I went to go look and see what inspiration she could bring to my life when I was in such a dark place, then like I don't think I'd be here right now. So, you know, that's tip number one, show up every single day because you have no idea who is watching you and typing in your name to go see what you're doing. And we kept in contact. So her and I were friends, and, you know, she would always like every month when she'd start a new challenge group, like, hey, Kate, like, do you want to jump back in? Like, you know, I think you'd be a really good coach. I think it would hold you more accountable. And I was just like, no, like that's good for you, but it's not for me. I tried I was addicted to quick fixes because I was like, I need to lose 25 pounds. How quickly can I lose 25 pounds? But none of them worked. None of them were sustainable. I went to like, it was kind of like Orange Theory, but like for Orange County. So it's like a boot camp fit gym. I'd like go for 45 minutes and have people screaming at me for 45 minutes and burning like 600 calories. But then I go like smash a Carl's Jr. cheeseburger. So I would never see results. And so it was this cycle. And I eventually found a new job. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Compton, but I taught over the railroad tracks from Compton last year. So I moved out of East LA down to South Central, and honestly, I loved it. Like, I loved my kids. I was teaching middle school. I honestly liked teaching middle school more than first grade because I could kind of be myself a little bit more with them and like tease them. I coached middle school basketball, and I think that was like what got me through the year. And they were just the best. Like, they're so annoying, but like in the best way. And so I loved my students. I loved who I worked with, but I just knew I wasn't meant to be a teacher. Like, I knew I wasn't meant to be in the classroom. I was like, I love these kids. I love mentoring them. I love like helping people. I want to change the world. I want to be a part of something bigger, and I cannot do it in the four walls of this classroom. I just knew, there was something in me that knew I was meant for more. And so on December 1st, 2017, I was looking around my classroom at lunch, and I just sat there and was like, this is it? Like, this is going to be my life for the next however many years, like until I retire. Like, I'm 24 years old, and this is going to be my life every single day. And I just wasn't okay with that. Like, I just wasn't, it didn't serve me. And the fact that it didn't serve me, I couldn't serve my students. And it wasn't fair to either of us. It wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to my kids that they weren't getting the best teacher they could have because I wasn't passionate about what I was doing. I loved BSing with them in the lunch hour or loved chatting with them in the hallway. But like, oh my God, if you gave me one more guided reading lesson, I was going to scream. And that day I texted Ashley and I said, tell me about this coaching thing. Like, I don't even know what it was, but it was like, literally I woke up and said, I'm going to be a Beachbody coach. I hadn't talked to Ashley in months, but I woke up and was like, I'm going to be a Beachbody coach. Like, that's what I meant to do. Like, I just knew it. And I texted her, I said, tell me about coaching and don't BS me. Like, what does it actually do? You actually make money? And I knew she used to be a teacher, so she had retired from teaching and was doing this full time, so I knew it was possible. But at this point, I wasn't even trying to like build a business. I was like, your girl needs an outlet. Your girl needs community. Your girl needs a hobby. Like, I need something to hold me accountable for my own fitness journey, because I still had, at this point, it was probably like 30 pounds. I probably gained an extra 5. Still had that weight to lose. I was looking in the mirror every single day and not recognizing myself, not just by like my appearance, but like I had no light in my eyes. Like, there was nothing. I was a shell of myself is like the only way I can describe it. Like, I couldn't remember the last time I belly laughed. I couldn't it was just not a good feeling. I was just surviving. So I signed up that day. Turns out I was an inactive discount coach for 10 months, and I didn't know I was paying that darn $16 fee every single month. So we found out that I was still like signed up as a discount coach. So I reactivated my account and I just went all in. And since then, I mean, just like a little bit of a timeline with my story is I signed up December 1st. I hit Emerald 4 days later. I hit Diamond 3 weeks after that. So I was Diamond by the end of December. Guys, I had 500 followers on Instagram. I didn't have like a huge following. I didn't have anything go viral. I was just this teacher who had a teacher Instagram that I sometimes did a boomerang on my stories and then like posted about my lesson plans. But I was just like, I'm just going to go all in and see what happens. Like, I have nothing to lose. And I'm going to use it to hold myself accountable for my own journey, because more than anything, I need this for myself and my own health. So was waking up at 4 o'clock every single morning to get my workout in, because it was 80-day obsession launch. So I went in with 80-day obsession, ended up losing 15 pounds with 80-day obsession, and went from a size 12 to a size 6, which was like mind blowing to me. Like, I literally was half a person, or half myself. And so 80-day obsession totally changed my life around health and fitness, but also my business, because I brought in like probably my first like real working coach, like one that she's still around, like working. She's number 7 in the network right now, and she's a 5-star coach. She already hit Premier for this year. She's a rock star. brought her in January. And then I hit, we had just like crazy momentum after 80-day obsession. That's like you guys with UPF launching and like all these launches like coming off of Transform 20, like utilize launches because that is what it's going to bring you momentum. So I was utilizing the 80-day obsession launch like crazy. I got results and now I'm going to utilize it every single time. And then we ended up 5-star elite in August, and then have just been, my team's been killing it ever since. So when I went to this high performance habits or this high performance academy, it was just crazy to me because I wasn't going to go. And now I'm like so freaking passionate about it. So I have like 6 points that he like kind of like one-liners that he said where I can relate them to my story and also relate them to my business and our business and hopefully your teams. And I think it'll resonate well with you because I did this for my team on Monday and they were like sobbing by the end and like they were all like a hot mess, but it's a good feeling. So number 1, honor the impulse you got when you wanted to be here. Honor the impulse you got when you wanted to be here. So when he said that on the first day, probably within the first 10 minutes, honor the impulse you got when you wanted to be here. He was talking about being present, talking about putting our all into the next 4 days. But I thought about that with this business. Honor the impulse you got when you wanted to be here. I impulsively was like, yeah, I'm signing up as a coach. Like, what do I need to do? Like, I'm ready. And we all have had that impulsive feeling at one point or another. Like at one point or another, even if you sat on it for a really long time, you all of a sudden decided you were going to be a coach. Honor that. And the way that you can honor that is showing up every single day for your business and honoring that impulse. Now, the story behind why that one-liner was such a big thing for me with high performance habits was, like I said, I wasn't going to go. Like, I knew it was going on. One of my friends, she's a coach in the network, her name's Virginia Scroggins. Like, she was going with a couple of her coaches from Canada and like all this stuff. And I was like, I don't really need to go. Like, I just moved to Arizona, or like still, I'm in my in-laws and my husband's like going back to work for the weekend. So I'm just going to like work my business. It's like I don't really need it. I don't need to go to High Performance Academy. That's what I was telling myself. And then the social media blackout happened on Wednesday, right? So Instagram, Facebook went down on Wednesday. And it's so funny because I listened to Keisha's The World is Rigged in Your Favor podcast that day at the pool because I was like, there's some reason that social media is down, right? Like there's some reason that social media crashed and blacked us all out. Like apparently we all needed to realign and recenter ourselves. So I was listening to her podcast. You guys, just gives me chills talking about it. I'm listening to her podcast and then I get one message on Instagram. One. The whole day I wasn't getting anything. And I got one message on Instagram from another coach in the network that said, hey, we're going to be in Phoenix for High Performance Academy. They like live in South Carolina. You should get a ticket and come. And I was like, that's really weird that the one message I got was this invite to come to High Performance Academy. So weird, right? And I was like, okay, like I'll look into tickets, right? I'll look into it. We'll see. So I went and I looked at tickets and they're like $400. And I was like, nope, we're closing on a house in like 10 days. And we got drink packages to buy on the cruise and like all this stuff. Like, I'm not really feeling it. Then I find out that someone in the network had a link for tickets for $150 for the 4 days. I was like, okay, like God, I'm listening, like universe, I'm hearing you. Like that's, a little bit crazy. So I reached out to this friend and she was like, sure, like I don't know if the link is going to work because the event starts tomorrow, but you can try it. This is at 8:00 at night, you guys, 8:00, like right around now is when I'm starting to like look into this stuff. So I filled out the link and it went through. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to High Performance Academy. Like, I guess it's happening. So I show up and at this point I like called Curtis and I called my mom and I'm like, I am being called to this conference for some reason. I'm being called to this conference for some reason. I don't know why, but I know that there's something I need to hear at this conference, some realization I need to have, some breakthrough I need to have. So I'm going. I got there and we went to like register with the iPads and my name wasn't in it. And I tried like my last name, my email, my first name, like wasn't in it. So I went to customer service and they're like, well, we have your registration, but we don't know how it went through because registration closed last Tuesday. Oh, I just got all the goosebumps. Like, registration closed a week and a half ago, and somehow my registration went through. Like, 100%. So crazy, right? So at that point, I'm like, all right, universe, okay, God, I'm here. I hear you. I'm open. I'm ready to hear whatever I needed to hear. And so the first like one-liner he said was, honor the impulse you got when you needed to be here. And then he says, you know, maybe you're here to level up in your business. Maybe you're here to get out of the job you don't love. Maybe you're here to achieve more. And maybe you don't know why you're here, but at the end of this weekend, you will. And I was sitting there, you guys, I was sitting in my chair, like by myself, because I don't have any friends with me. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I am texting my husband, like, oh my gosh, like the universe is crazy, crazy. So anyways, it was awesome. So with this business and with just like life, like honor the impulse you get when you decide that you want to do something. Because there is a reason that the universe, God, higher power, whatever you believe in, is giving you that impulse in order to get there, because for some reason you're being called to it, right? So with your business, honor the fact that you said yes to this. The only way you are going to fail is if you quit. In this business, the only way you are going to fail is if you quit. And by quitting, you are not honoring that impulse that you first got when you said yes, right? Same with our health and fitness. If you're slacking on your health and fitness, if you're not really engaged in a program, if you're not loving what you're doing, if you're not loving, you know, the meal plan that you're aligned to, change it. And honor the impulse you got when you decided to start your health and fitness journey, because we all have a why. We all have a reason, not only that we started this business, but our health and fitness journey. If we are not aligned to that and we are not honoring that impulse, then you will not be successful. You have to honor the impulse. You have to align to that impulse every single day. All right, that was just number one. I'll try and go through the rest faster. But number two is, he said, how often do you not do what you know you need to do? How often do you not do what you know you need to do? And that is a gut check for everyone on this call, including myself. How often do you not do the things that you need to do? For me, as soon as he said that, I started bullet pointing all the things I know I need to do every day to grow my business, and I'm not doing them because I'm living in a guest room, or I don't really have a routine right now, or, you know, all these excuses that are coming into my mind why I'm not doing these things that I know I need to be doing. Like, how often we don't do those things. And he said, if you need motivation to show up for your business, to show up for life every single day, connect with the fact that life is short. If you need motivation to show up for your business and do the things that you know you need to be doing every single day but aren't doing, connect with the fact that life is short. And we throw away time like we have it. We throw away time like we have it. Oh, so good. Like, I just like that. Like, I used to always say, like, motivation doesn't exist. And I think that is, like, to an extent, like with the 5-second rule was the first PD book I ever read. And it's very clear, like, motivation does not exist. But I think it exists, but we need to show up and be disciplined even when motivation isn't showing up for ourselves, and connecting with the fact that life is short. Connecting with the fact that we throw away time like we have it. And for Brendan, he talked about, like, he had, if you guys know his story, like, he had a car accident when he was 19 and almost died. And when he was, you know, in this mangled car in like a freaking jungle in the Dominican Republic by himself with his friend, and no one knew they were there, and they were like bleeding out in their car accident, he felt like he looked up at the moon and the higher power, God, the universe, handed him the golden ticket for a second chance at life. And we don't always get second chances. We don't always get second chances. So connect. When you show up tonight, tomorrow for your business, send the invites, check off the tracker, show up on social media, connect with the fact that life is short and that you have to do this for all the other people that can't. Okay. And he also said with that, checking out is easier than checking in. Checking out is easier than checking in. And when I think about that, you guys, this business is simple. There's a freaking tracker in your Coach Online office that tells you exactly what you need to do. It takes you like an hour and 45 minutes a day, nothing crazy. This business is simple, and the actions are simple to do, but they're also simple not to do. It's really easy to say, oh, I'll just send double the invites tomorrow, or I'll just send, I'll just post more on my stories tomorrow because I didn't really get around to it today. Checking out is easier than checking in, but you always have to remember that life is short. If you want to hit big dreams, if you want to have big dreams, if you want to, and not even in this business, you want to write the book, if you want to start the other business, you want to start the podcast, if you want to do the thing, do it now. Do it now. And that was just something that was really powerful. Like we hear it often. We hear it all the time. Life is short. Life is short. Live out your dream. Life is short. But I think if we really think about it and we stop overusing it as this fluffy thing and we really connect with the fact that we waste so much time that we don't even know if we have that time to waste. We don't know when our last day is going to be. So really, when you think about it, like just connect with that and use that as motivation to show up for your dreams every single day. And then number 3, he talked about the 3, if you've read his books or listened to his podcast, you're going to kind of hear that a little bit, but this connects to my story a lot, is there's really 3 ways to live your life: caged, comfortable, or charged. Caged, comfortable, or charged. And for me, I lived the caged life for too long. And I was only, living it for 2 years. 2 years is a short amount of time in comparison to people who live the caged life for 20. In a job that they don't love, in a job that they're not passionate about, in a job that they're living for the weekend. Most people live a caged life longer than they live even a comfortable or a charged life. So for me, when I was teaching, I felt caged, very much a caged life. Nobody understands what I'm going through. No one gets me. I can't talk to anybody about this. Everyone's going to think that I'm whining and complaining. No one's going to relate to this. And when he said, someone can open the cage for you, someone can take the key and unlock it and open it for you, but you have to be the one to get yourself out. You have to be the one to step out of the cage. And he said, rattle your cage. If you are living the cage life, rattle your dang cage and get yourself out, because living a caged life is not living life at all. And then this next, kind of part of living life, I think I was blessed to go from a caged life to a charged life. Like I kind of skipped the comfortable phase because I feel like I was rattling my cage so much that I threw myself out into the charged life because I was like, I'm all in. But there is a stage in between that's comfortable. And I'm going to talk a little quieter because I don't want him to hear this, but I think my husband lives a comfortable life. He doesn't mind his job. He goes to work, it pays the bills, it does the things. He has a decent schedule for a cop. It's not bad. It's 3 days on, 4 days off, 4 days on, 3 days off. So he gets a nice weekend. But it's comfortable. It's not waking up every single day with passion. It's not living every single day with purpose. And that's something that he's been realizing. And it's really exciting because I haven't even announced this on social media or anything because I can't until we close on our house. But he's actually leaving law enforcement to come help me. And that's something that he's really excited about and really starting to live. I can see it in his eyes that he's starting to dream a little bit bigger and live more of the charged life. But I think there's a lot of people that live comfortably. They can pay the bills. Maybe sometimes they can't, but most of the time they can, and they're kind of just going through the motions. They're living for the weekend, but things are fine. Comfortable is when you ask someone how they're doing and they go, oh, I'm fine. Busy, but fine. That's someone living a comfortable life, right? Now, charged is where everything like all the magic happens. You know, charge is when you're waking up like you can't sleep until 7 because you're too excited to get up and do what you get to do today. Or you are just like so pumped to show up on social media and tell everybody about the next boot camp you have going on, or tell them about your coach sneak peek, or, you know, living that charged life. I really think you can see it in people's eyes. You know, like I said before, when I was teaching, there was like no light in my eyes. And I think you can tell when someone's living a cage life. I look at it like selfies. When someone's living a cage life, like their smile is fake. Like you can totally tell, like their smile is fake. They're forcing it. Like they're secretly rolling their eyes behind their smile. A comfortable life is like they're smiling, but like there's no light in their eyes, right? They're smiling, but like, you know, they're faking it really well. They're really good at faking it. Charged is where you take that selfie and there is literally light beaming out of your eyeballs. Like passion and purpose and fulfillment is shining through your eyeballs. And I've seen this in so many of my own pictures where I'm like, holy crap, like I look so much happier. It's like when people say you're glowing, like it's literally true. If you're living a charged life, you're glowing with purpose and fulfillment and passion. So cage, comfortable, charge. My point number 4 is real confidence comes from your belief in your ability to figure things out. Real confidence comes from your belief in your ability to figure things out. You guys, when I came into this business, I had no freaking idea what diamond was, but Ashley said to get to diamond, so that's what I did. You know, I had no idea what it meant, and I think that is why I got to diamond so quickly, because there wasn't this like huge like diamond, I don't know, like diamond didn't really, like I didn't really know what diamond was. I didn't really feel like it was a big deal. Like it's 8 people, like I can find 8 people and then help 2 of them, like, and then get Curtis to emerald and then help someone else get to emerald. Like that's pretty easy. Like I can get to diamond. You know, I think of diamond as emerald 4 times, because you get to emerald, okay, you're an emerald, and then you get to emerald again, and then you get to emerald again, and then you get to emerald again. Like if we're having emerald in 24-hour calls, then we need to be having like diamond in 96 hours, because if we're getting to emerald in 24 hours 4 times, like there's no reason that you can't be a diamond in 30 days, right? So real confidence comes from your belief in your ability to figure things out. In this business, as a type 1, as a perfectionist, as someone that wants to have everything lined up perfectly in order to go, I didn't with this business. And I don't know why. Like for some reason, I was just like, I was a 7 in this situation. I was like, this is fun. Like I'm just going to go all in and see what happens. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. But it's fun and it's holding me accountable. And so I figured it out. Like this business is a learn as you grow business. Learn as you grow business. Like you are not going to have everything figured out. You're not. And you shouldn't, because things are going to change constantly. And you've got to learn to roll with the punches. And he said something that was really powerful to me. He said, I can't even remember who said it. It was some like billionaire. I should probably know his name. I don't really know his name. But it was some billionaire that someone asked him, like, what is, you know, the key to making millions or billions of dollars or having $1 billion company? And he said, go when you're 40% sure. Go when you're 40% sure. There's a reason why investors invest in a business that hasn't gotten off the ground yet. Right? Because they're 40% sure. They're 40% sure. Go when you're 40% sure. And that goes back to honoring the impulse. You don't need to know everything about the compensation plan to go hit emerald. You don't need to know everything about the compensation plan to even go to 2-star. I still had no idea what team cycle bonus was until I hit 2-star. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool that I've been making that money through that way. I had no idea. I was just doing the things. And people want to invest in people that have momentum. So when you go when you're 40% sure and you gain that momentum and you're doing those things, you know, it just makes so much sense why people would want to join you. Right? If you're going when you're 40% sure and you're gaining this momentum and you're doing the things and you have this confidence in your ability that you're going to figure it out, people want to join that, right? He also said, just kind of with that, is people buy in when you're bought in. So if you're bought into the fact that you're going to be a top coach, then people are going to buy into that. Like, I told corporate and all these other people, like, we're going to be elite in our first year. And I got laughed at constantly. Like, oh, well, elite's a 2-year program. Oh, well, like, you got to get a team first. Like, I had like one working coach. And I'm like, we're going to be elite. Like, it's going to happen. But like, everything's figure outable. And I went when I was 40% sure. I was like, yeah, I think I can find like 5 more diamonds. Like, I just hit diamond. I think I could find 5 more. And I think I could like do this thing. I think we could do it together. So actually my theme for last year was #WatchMe. Like, you know how everyone gets like a word for the year? My like word was a hashtag, and it was watch me. And it was like this theme with our team. And so that was fun. So honor or real confidence comes from your belief in figuring things out. 2 more. Number 5, honor the struggle. Honor the struggle. When I think of my story, and I think the reason I get choked up every single time is because I'm still honoring the struggle. I'm still honoring the fact that I was at rock bottom. I'm still honoring the fact that I needed to be there in order to be here. And knowing it and reminding yourself every single day when things feel hard, you know, so I had a really crappy February mindset wise, with moving, and after NLC, I just kind of went into this, like, I don't know, like, I just didn't feel myself. Like, I was stressed and I was anxious, and type 1s, man, when they do that, when they're in their unhealthy space, like, it's depression and anxiety. And that's where I was going. And I was feeling like so unlike myself and like crying for no reason. And Curtis is like, why are you crying? Like, you have a 6-figure business. You like don't have to teach anymore. Like, life is great. We're moving into our dream home that we've been building for the last 5 months. Like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like really weird right now. I don't know what's happening. I was really struggling with my own journey. I was doing Transform 20 for like the 4th time, and I was over it. So like, I wasn't focusing on myself as much as I needed to. And I wasn't finding the joy in this business anymore. Like, I wasn't showing up I was putting so much stress on it instead of like having fun. Like, this business is fun. And if you're not bringing joy to this business every single day, you're going to get burned out. And I think that's the place I was getting. And I had to rip myself out of that so fast. So what I did was I was honoring the struggle in February by knowing exactly what I needed to do in order to get out of it. And it was go back to 80-day obsession. I knew that a year ago I was in 80-day obsession, and it was life-changing. It was life-giving. 80-day obsession was life-giving for me. And I was struggling with the fact that I knew I was going to be offered a test group spot just because of my Success Club numbers for MM100. And I turned it down. And I think I was really struggling with that because you're supposed to say yes to a test group. Like, you're supposed to say yes to this once in a life opportunity. And by all means, I say, if you've never done a test group before and you get offered it, 100% do it because it'll change your business. But I had just come off of 2 of them. I had been in Transform 20s and I had been in UPFs. And it was like, I was so stressed out by this test group idea. I wasn't focusing on my own journey, and I wasn't focusing on what was best for me. And I knew that I needed to go back to 80-day obsession, and I needed to crush it with my clients. So I ended up getting 40 or 45 people to do 80-day obsession with me. And we're on day 10, and I've never felt better. Never felt better. And I think as soon as I like told corporate, like, I don't really want to do the test group, I was like, it was like this weight was lifted off my shoulder, because if you are not focusing on yourself first in this business, your business will suffer. You cannot, and if you are focusing too much on your business, you will suffer. You have to put yourself first on your to-do list every single day in this business. And I really, really needed to put myself back in a place where, like, I know how I feel when I'm doing 80-day, and I needed to get back to that. And it's been the best decision by far for, like, not only my own journey, but like my joy and my excitement to do my workouts every day, and like my business. And it's been the best decision. And in that moment, I didn't think it was a business decision, because I was like, crap, I'm going to turn on a test group. Like, everyone says you need to do a test group in order to like be successful and all this stuff. But like, I wasn't invested in it. It was stressing me out. So, I honor that struggle I had in February, and I honor that. And I am using that to show people that there's going to be lulls in this business. There's going to be lulls. Like, we had just come off of finding out we were number 10, because we were number 10 in January. And I knew we were going to be higher up this month just because I knew the points that were coming in, and I wasn't excited. I was like, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, why am I not excited? And I was just so stressed about so many different things, and I wasn't focusing on myself. So, honor the struggle, not only like before you got here, but honor the struggle that you are going to continue to find, because you are going to have lulls. And I'm going to tell you that it is not going to always be sunshine and rainbows. And there will probably be times that you want to quit. There will probably be times where this business feels really hard to show up. And there will probably be times where you don't know if this is right for you. Honor that, but then go back and honor the impulse that you got when you wanted to be here, because you committed. You got to commit to your yes. So although you need to honor the struggle and honor, the reasons that, because, you're going to grow through it, right? The fact that you're struggling is a good thing. Like, if you are sitting on this call, like, I'm struggling to hit Success Club, I'm struggling to hit my next rank, I'm struggling to make more money, honor that, because there is a reason that you are struggling. There is a reason, because the universe is trying to get you to grow through something. They're trying to get you to be creative, right? And he said with that, when things go wrong, there's always something extraordinary happening in your favor. And I think every single time that extraordinary thing is growth. Every single time that extraordinary thing that's happening is growth. That if you're not as close to Success Club as you wish you are, if you're not at the success points that you wish you were, then figure it out. Try something different. Reach out to that person. Send more invites. Challenge yourself and figure it out, right? You have to do something different in order to change something. And that is going to be a lesson to you that you're going to grow through that struggle. All right, my last point is alignment and purpose. And this was like this is just such a life-giving topic, alignment and purpose. Because it wasn't even Brendan, it was one of his buddies. He was talking about when you are driving a car and your car is out of alignment, right? Your wheel is going this way, but your steering wheel is going this way, but your tires are this way. So when you're going on the pavement, you're pressing on that gas, you're trying to put that power into your vehicle, you're creating friction because your tires aren't aligned to where they're supposed to be going. So they're sideways, hypothetically, and it's creating friction on the road, right? You're not getting all that power behind where you need to be going. It's the same thing in this business. If you are not fully aligned to why you are doing this, or why, how this business aligns to your purpose, then you need to figure it out. You need to have journal about it, think about it tonight, think about what is your true why? What is your, purpose, and how does this business align to your purpose, or what you think the purpose of life is? And so once you get back into that alignment, I think this was something I struggled with in February. I was so out of alignment. And I think it was because not only with the test group situation, but I am very recognition driven, super recognition driven. But I started to go the way of I'm going to build for income. I started to go see that light, the beautiful light of building income instead of recognition, because recognition for me, it feels good for a day. But if you're not building a smart business and you're not building for showing up for income, one of my coaches, Patrick Railman, he said, bank over rank. And I was like, but I love the shout outs, but I love the all this stuff. And he's like, nope, you need those third level diamonds. You need to stop putting people in your first business center, go to your second business center, all this stuff. And I was so out of alignment because I knew I needed to go for income. and I knew that I could, but I was still trying to go for recognition, and it wasn't aligned with where I needed to be. So I realigned myself. And when you realign yourself, that power that you've been putting in to going after your dreams is a lot smoother. There's no more friction. It feels so much better. Feels so much better. When you're aligned to why you're building this business and why you're doing the things, like, I am not building this business to get a shout out on the National Wake Up Call for 7-star. I'm just not. I'm building this business for freedom for not only my family, but to help other women create freedom for themselves and their families. And then have them help other women create freedom for them and their families. That is why I am building this business. I'm not building this business for a jacket. I'm not building, and like, while I'm still very motivated by recognition, don't get me wrong, I'm still very motivated by that. And I think you have to build your business in the way that you're motivated by. And I also don't think that income and recognition is always separate. But I do think you have to align to, like, why are you doing this? Did you sign up to be a coach because you knew you'd get a super sweet jacket when you hit 7-star? Did you sign up to be a coach because, like, when you hit diamond, you would make $18 a team cycle? No, probably not, because you probably didn't know you would get any of that, right? You probably signed up to be a coach for such a bigger reason, whether it was accountability, community, financial freedom for your family, for, creating a life by design. You didn't sign up for a jacket. You didn't sign up for a graphic. While all those things are super fun and they create momentum and motivation, you also need to remember the bigger picture and, like, the bigger vision. And while you will probably still get the jackets and the recognition, you don't have to force it. Realign with why you're building this business. Realign with the fact that you're building this for your family or your future family, or you're building this to inspire others, or you're building this to change people's lives. You're building this to empower other women. There's so many other reasons to build this business for. And for me, it was just like, I just had to realign myself to why I'm doing this. And once you do that, it's so much more fun. So much more fun when you really figure out why you're building this business and what you're doing it for. And if you are doing it for the jackets, go get the freaking jackets and get me one while you're at it. Like, if you are like, no, I'm so recognition heavy, like, what are you saying, Kate? Like, go freaking do it. Align with why you are doing this business. Align with it. Because if you don't, it's going to feel really hard. And that goes into your purpose. I want you guys to just, like, really think tonight, like, what do you think what do you think not only your purpose is in life, but what do you think the purpose of life is? And that's, like, a super deep question. And I asked my team, I, like, posted this in the Facebook page, on my team page, and was like, what do you guys think the purpose of life is? And they were all like, come back to me. That was a really deep question on a freaking Thursday morning. Like, what are you talking about, Kate? And it was really interesting because they started to comment, what the purpose of life was and what they thought their purpose was. And then I asked them, how does your business align to that? So how does building this business align to your purpose? And every single one of them could answer it. Every single one. And when I think of, my purpose and what I think the purpose of life in general is, and it's going to be different for everyone. And it was really cool because Brendan had to share with like four other people about what we think the purpose of life is. And everyone had a different answer. And I thought that was beautiful. For me, I feel like our purpose in life is, at the end of our life, did we live ours or someone else's? At the end of our life, can we look back on our life and really answer the fact, did we live our lives or did we live someone else's? And for me, I think that's what the purpose of life is. I think it's living our lives the way we intended, the way God created us to live our lives, not someone else's, not society's, not your parents, not your boyfriends, not your husbands. Like, yeah, their support is amazing, and yes, their support is great, but you don't need their support to grow and progress. You don't need their support to live your life the way that you were intended. And so when I think of, obviously this business aligns to that perfectly because this is not what society usually celebrates. You know, I think we definitely are getting into a better age where people are celebrating entrepreneurship and people are a little bit more open-minded about MLMs, but generally there are the haters, there are the naysayers. Not everyone is supportive of it, but people are going to judge you either way. People are going to judge you either way. So you might as well like give them something to talk about, right? And you might as well live your life according to your terms. If they're going to judge you either way, have them judge you for that. Have them judge you for the fact that you're living your life according to your plan and your purpose and your passion and the way that you intended to live it. And when I think about, you know, my specific purpose, I think my purpose in life is to do that and to show other people that they can do it too. I think I have always been meant to be a teacher, just not in the four walls of a classroom. You know, I think that I was always meant to mentor and teach and hopefully inspire, but just maybe not confined to a 9 to 5. And so I really want you guys to take the time. I know Keisha said she's going to ask it. So you might want to start thinking about what do you think that your purpose is or the purpose of life, and how does this business align with that? Because when you can really connect to that and you can connect to these other points that I talked about, like, y'all, you can blow this ish up. Like, there is nothing stopping you when you can master your mindset. And we always hear that. But I think it's so powerful when you can hear, like, even if you hear it in a different way. You know, you hear life is short all the time, but I think when we listen to the fact that we waste time like we have it, like it's saying the same thing, but like for some reason when I hear it that way, like that gives me goosebumps. So really connect with the fact that you guys need to honor the impulse that you got here. You need to honor that struggle and remember the impulse when you're struggling so that you continue to go and you continue to grow. Rattle your freaking cage if you're living in a caged life and get out of it. Because your coach, whoever you signed up under, whoever showed you that this was possible, this opportunity was possible for you because they have done it for themselves, they opened that cage for you. It's time for you to get yourself out. Figure it out. You know, everything is figure outable. Go when you're 40% sure. You think you should send the invite? You're 40% sure that sounds good. Send it. You don't need to be 100% sure. It's not always going to be perfect. And make sure that you are constantly checking in with yourself and realigning to your purpose and to this business. Because if you're not, it's going to feel hard. You're going to create friction. And it's not going to feel as fun as it all did, you know, day one when we all started signing up as a coach. At the end of the day, it's still a business. And it's still, you know, it still can be really hard. And we all struggle. We all go through lulls. But the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people just stick around a little bit longer. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people just stick around a little bit longer, especially in this business. So that's all I got. I'm like sweating. So I hope that was
so amazing. Kate, thank you so much. Let's blow up the chat. Give her some love. Recognition, focused person. Give her all the love. No, but seriously, Kate, you're incredible. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And like, it makes me want to go back to High Performance Academy again, because that is such, like, all of those takeaways are so good. And I really appreciate you just like breaking that down with digestible content. I think a lot of people are like, what? And a lot of people that watch this recording are going to feel really grateful. So thank you for what you're doing and the ripple that you're making by you showing up and just doing the damn thing, girl. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Post this recording page tomorrow. Bye.